Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today has been the final day, day 75 of the 75 Hard Challenge for this year's winter arc. So, I'm going to walk you through almost the exact routine that I have followed close to every single day for the majority of this challenge, and I'm going to walk you through the highs, the lows, and all that I've accomplished on this challenge. So, today started off as per usual, waking up and knocking out the usual manifestation, meditation, and prayer first thing. As always, doing that just to get the mind focused on the goals for the day, centered on God and exactly what I need to fulfill throughout this challenge. Second part of my usual routine was following that up with reading first thing in the morning, some sort of a educational or self-improvement based book, something to help activate your brain, your thinking, focus, and then just overall pursuing knowledge and learning something new first thing when you wake up. So followed that up with the usual weigh-in. So I did that first thing in the morning for every single day when I had access to the scale if I wasn't traveling somewhere where I didn't. And doing that allows you to have a consistent daily tracking of your progress, different things like that based on what goal you're doing. So find some way to track your progress daily. That was the main reason behind that one. After that, I followed it up with the usual morning supplements every single day. So my supplement stack on this was just overall for promoting better hormones, health, energy, everything across the board. So figure out what works for you. I can recommend certain things, but I can't prescribe you a perfect stack of supplements that'll help you out. But I can say my probably main three first thing in the morning for all of you guys is some sort of caffeine, lower dosage. You're not trying to get cracked out of your mind first thing in the morning, but something to wake up your brain, your body, make sure you get going. Some sort of electrolytes, because when you sleep, you get extremely dehydrated, especially if you're sleeping a proper amount of time. Your body doesn't have any water or salt intake over that time period, so get some electrolytes in you first thing in the morning, and then get in some sort of beneficial supplement to whatever fitness goal you're chasing. So for me, it's been creatine every single day, just focusing on overall performance, stuff like that, which I would highly recommend if you are any kind of athlete or into bodybuilding, putting on muscle, performance, anything, that kind of stuff. Definitely look into it and the effects it would have for you and your role. So after that, I would follow it up either with morning cardio or a super high protein breakfast, which today started off with high protein breakfast. We knocked out the cardio later in the day, which I've been doing for a large portion of this challenge, because as much as I enjoy doing cardio in the morning, oftentimes when I've had really busy days, it's tended to be I didn't have time to do it if I wanted to get in proper sleep and the workout from the night before. So I would push my cardio till later on in the day, which ended up working out fairly well. But biggest thing I can say is just pick a spot and do it consistently, because constantly flip-flopping back and forth is not as good for being consistent. I can speak to that from this challenge. It made it a lot more difficult not wanting to do workouts certain times of the day, that kind of thing. So biggest thing I've noticed so far from this challenge is you need to have a routine. If you want to start seeing any kind of consistency and doing the same thing every day, set it into a routine, because you can't build a habit if you're doing something every single day, but you're doing it at 10 different random times throughout the same week, right? So if you want to set in the habit of waking up early, don't pick 5 a.m. and then wake up at 6 and then at 4 or do it all like that. Pick the same time every single day. If you want to start getting into the gym, pick the same time every day and say, this is the time that I go to the gym, and stick to it every single day unless something comes up, right? And when I say something coming up, I'm talking like an actual big event that you cannot change, or something that you literally have no control over, right? If it's something you have control over, change it, because what you say you are going to do, if you don't do it, you're lying to yourself and lying to your subconscious mind, right? And that can have a drastic impact on your level of success in any kind of challenge like this. So after that, my usual day, I would get into whatever was the big rock for the day, whether it was work, whether it was chores, whether it was something helping out the family, different things like that, or whether it's been content work, different business prep, all sorts of things like that. But biggest priority over this challenge that I've been doing throughout the days has been building the habit of effectively tracking all of my nutrition, because that has been the biggest factor when it comes to my fitness, weight loss, performance, everything. That has been kind of wishy-washy over the past few years. Like, I went through periods where I would track everything religiously, full control, but then I would go through periods where I would kind of slack off about it and forget to track. So the biggest part of this challenge has been making sure I'm tracking every single day, and I have built that habit fantastically. It's now become a habit that even my family's starting to understand. Before or after every single meal, pull out the phone, log in all the calories of what you're having or about to have, and just make sure it's within the goals, making sure you're hitting high protein with all the meals, that kind of stuff. And it's been really, really good just getting to have that kind of overall view of what you're eating every single day and how it's affecting your performance. Another nice thing with that is being able to balance that in with the progress when it comes to weight and see how it affects you. So that's been the biggest goal of this challenge, and we have completed that. I fully understand it now. Well, I can say as much as possible, and I know exactly where I need to tweak things to start seeing further changes alongside with the goals for the rest of the year upcoming. So really looking forward to that, and it was definitely a valuable lesson over this course of the challenge. So other part of the routine is I would usually do my workouts later in the evenings. If you guys have been following along on my Instagram, you guys will see the nightly stories, that kind of stuff. So I would normally do some sort of a run or hit workout every single day, which the last portion or over last half, I think, of this challenge, I switched to hit workouts just because of what a major impact it's had, not just on getting rid of the repetitiveness every single day of running, but adding in some sort of, I want to say lateral movement as well, all sorts of different aspects of movement as well as core every single night. So it's getting your body used to the same level of intensity when it comes to your lungs and your heart, training the cardiovascular system, but then adding in so many different elements to it that it makes it so much better for overall performance. I've definitely noticed an improvement there. So after that, or before that, normally I would do my lift, so I get that out of the way and then have some active recovery after, but it's been 20-minute to a half-hour lift every single night, and I have yet to miss a day, which is fantastic. Actually, no, that's not true. I missed a workout, technically, but that was when I was racing at provincials, which doing the races in themselves counts as a workout, and we still knocked out other sports throughout the day and did push-ups and that, so I'm going to still count that. I didn't lift weights one day. How's that? But I'm going to say, based on the fact that calisthenic stuff still counts for this challenge, I have been doing that. So now to get on to, well, actually I should cover the last thing, is I've been posting content every single day. If you guys go back and have been following along, you know on my Instagram I've been doing a reel or a post every single day, 3 stories a day minimum, and a YouTube video every single day. Just building the habit of posting consistently, starting to understand the algorithm based off of that, and it has been fantastic, the results I've been seeing. So last thing I want to talk about is the big rocks that I've hit over this challenge. My bench press went up 20 pounds from the start of this challenge. So I went from a 225 max bench. It is now up to 245 and still improving. I have noticed a massive improvement in my calisthenics ability when it comes to handstand push-ups. At the start of this challenge, I had maxed at around 2 handstand push-ups supported against the wall, I think, and then my body was kind of starting to get really slow. By the end of this challenge, in fact, last week I hit 10 handstand push-ups against a wall. So I am now starting to master almost full control over my body weight, and I am at the heaviest I've ever been doing those kind of exercises at, so that is fantastic. And then another thing I've noticed over this challenge, I went from heaviest point of this challenge at 228.5 pounds all the way down to 219.2. Sorry, not 219, 216. But that, while not being the biggest change in weight, was in a considerable time frame, and then I've been kind of maintaining it for different reasons, whether it was for provs. I had periods where I couldn't go and do any big changes. Same thing with marksmanship lately, and then just kind of being inconsistently on and off in town and not being able to fully control meals. But the one nice thing it's allowed me to start noticing is the big impact, not only nutrition, but also sleep times, workout times, everything starts to play into it based on just your level of bloating naturally throughout the day. So definitely something else to take into consideration. But I think those are the biggest improvements. And then the biggest lesson has been just the necessity of making stuff a habit. If you want to see success, make it a habit and you will start seeing that success. You need to embody the person who would have that level of success before you can become them. You can't try and figure it out and then get there and then understand it. You have to understand it before you get there, and then you fully figure it out, right? So don't try and do it all at once. Start building in the tiny habits and the tiny steps along the way, and you will start becoming the person that you are destined and desire to be. On that note, I'm going to sign off for the evening. As always, make sure to subscribe if you guys have enjoyed this journey and want to follow along for the rest of my adventures. Like the video, share it with someone who you think needs to see the message in this or some of the lessons. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.